We talked about the primary election over in New York City yesterday, and yes, Zohran Mamdani won the New York Democratic primary for mayor yesterday as he claimed that he was campaigning for the working class. Now, I want to get into some of what he wants to do and where New York goes from here, but I want to first read President Trump's Truth Social post on the matter, if you could pull that up, Stephen. I have an idea for the Democrats to bring them back into play. After years of being left out in the cold, including suffering one of the greatest losses in history, the 2024 presidential election, the Democrats should nominate low IQ candidate Jasmine Crockett. No, that's not the right one. I'll find it. But he basically goes on to call Zohran Mamdani terrible. And I think he alludes to him being ugly. And he calls him a communist. And it was just really, really beautiful to see President Trump weigh in on that. But you've got this guy who he's talking about all of these things that he wants to do. I mean, he's a total communist. He calls himself a democratic socialist.
But he's a communist.
He's a total communist. And so when you're looking at what he wants to do, he wants to defund the police. Mm-hmm. He wants rent control expansion. He wants government-sponsored grocery stores. He wants higher taxes. He wants $65 million in taxpayer-funded gender-affirming trans procedures for adults and children. This is like insane policies that he wants. Specifically, just the government-run grocery stores. Like, oh, that's a little communist-y.
Yeah.
It's got some communist vibes there. And so you've got this guy who can win in New York City. And it's just like, how far have we fallen? That here it is. How far have we fallen that like this was supposed to be the city of America, right? The city that was representative of America. And now you've got a total communist that was voted in. And I want to talk about how exactly he was voted in and who voted for him, because I think that it's actually very interesting when you look at who was actually voting for him. But President Trump said, it's finally happened. The Democrats have crossed the line. Zohran Mamdani, a 100% communist lunatic, has just won the Dem primary and is on his way to becoming mayor. We've had radical lefties before, but this is getting a little ridiculous. He looks terrible in all caps. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. He's got AOC +3 dummies all backing him. And even our great Palestinian Senator Crying Chuck Schumer is groveling over him. Yes, this is a big moment in the history of our country. And you've got this Mamdani guy who he wants to end cash bail as well. He wants to decriminalize sex work. He wants to legalize marijuana, permit safe injection sites, restrict solitary confinement. This is crazy.
Yeah, beyond.
This is nuts. And so when you look at the policies that he claims to be for the working class, actually of the votes tallied, 44% voted for Mamdani, 36% voted for Cuomo. But the income of the counties that he won counties with a median income of $117,000. Cuomo was actually the one who won counties with a median income of below $62,000. So if you look at this little graph here by median income, under $50,000, it's Cuomo plus 19. And then as you start getting higher and higher income, 50 to 100,000 is Mamdani plus 6, over 100,000, Mamdani plus 13. So how wild is that these are the wealthy elites, these snobby
really
brats.
For the working class.
Right. These snobby brats who are like, actually, the working class knows better. The working class is like, no. We don't want that craziness here. We just want to work and be left alone.
Imagine when you're willing to settle for Cuomo.
Yeah, that's what we talked about that yesterday. It's just
I'm talking.
Those two are your best bets for New York. Really? That's the best you could do in a city of how many people? You've got someone like Andrew Cuomo, and then you've got a communist?
Yeah.
Those are your two options in the Democrat Party. Okay, guys. All right.
I would love to laugh at this, but it actually kind of worries me.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary.
And not only for the fate of New York City, but I mean even more of a meta issue going forward, because I remember listening to Steve Bannon years ago, and he said that every single developed nation in the West is coming to this like inflection point where it's going to be left-wing populism versus right-wing populism. And it's not going to be fun. It's going to be I don't think he said, maybe he said violent, but I don't think he said violent. But there's going to be a struggle. And one side's going to win in these areas, the other side's going to win in these other areas. We have not gotten to that point yet. We are probably going towards that point where we're already so divided. And everyone is going further and further towards the extremes of the other side. There will be a point where I think more of these guys will show up in lots more parts of the country. They're going to be governors. They're going to be senators. They're going to be in actual positions of power. It's already happening.
In Texas.
And if you look at the way that our government is handling the economy, this is how you get countries that flip to socialism. This is what happened in Venezuela. Yep. Crazy national debt blocks out a lot of people in the lower income brackets to where they can't pay off loans that they already have because the government and their insane spending sprees has driven up inflation. They can't buy food. They can't buy housing. This is already happening right now. Yes. If the government continues to spend the way they are and screw the economy, you're going to see more rises like this guy. And it's just going to keep happening. And nothing is really being done about it.
The policies, I personally think it's catastrophic because it undermines 2-3 decades of work we've had to do in the movement of stabilizing this country. It undermines it in an instant. A little thing, because it's in my field, what we do, the decrim movement, it's called the full decriminalization of sex work, which means basically owning a slave is legal, selling a human being is legal. That includes the 3 countries in the world that has had decrim in their cities. Child trafficking exploded through the roof. The champions for that movement is J.B. Pritzker in Illinois, governor, and now this guy in Johannesburg, South Africa. This November, the decrim movement's going to explode in Johannesburg, South Africa. That alone undermines any humanitarian, any human trafficking law is obliterated in one action.
Yeah.
You're gone. You're back in. You are third world country, New York, where crime will go through the roof. Crime begets crime. Hurt people. He doesn't have one of those things. Sarah just rattled off 10 of them. 10 items like that. It's almost like kitchen sink. Throw it all into New York. And it's sad, but I want the MAGA movement to hear this. It doesn't autocorrect because Trump's in the White House. And he said, I want New York to go back to the golden days of New York. And he said, I want great golden Hollywood again. It doesn't just happen because you say it. The people who are there have to own it. They have to claw with their fingernails and fight for it. And for some weird reason, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. I mean, how's Cuomo even allowed to run again? How did they even put him on a ticket again?
That's crazy.
But they suckers for punishment. They go, let's go again. As a matter of fact, we'll take Cuomo for the working class. Are you kidding me? When he was there, no way we would say he's for the working class. He was for himself. He was a narcissist, self-enriched. I mean, it's insane.
I mean, how many people's elderly loved ones did he kill with his COVID policies? Right? And there's still been no retribution
and now he's
on
the
that.
guy
And then they
for
covered
the
it up.
Working class.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's insane. Now, there is still Eric Adams, who's running as an independent.
He's
obviously the incumbent, but...
Who had one of the greatest political ads of all time as a city councilman. Did you see that one?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't see that. It's hilarious. He's like running for city council. And he was like, hello, boys and girls. The more you know. You never know if your kid... Look at that. I see behind this picture frame a crack pipe. Check in on your kids. And then he goes, go look in there. And the camera follows him and he goes into a bedroom. He goes, look under your son's bedroom, pillow. You never, what do you know? Here's a 9mm Beretta. Never knew Joey had this. It is look this up tonight. Wow. Everyone right now, look this up. You will laugh.
Well, he may have to pull a rabbit out of the hat like that. And then I asked, who's on the conservative side? Who's running on the GOP side? Who's running? But I don't know that they've got a snowball's chance.
No. It's some guy named Curtis Sliwa. Yeah. Sliwa? I don't know. Sorry, Curtis.
It's gonna be this guy.
It has to be. It's New York City.
Yeah. But it's a disaster.
Yeah, you think? Well, he's also a chameleon of sorts. We've got Jasmine Crockett and Kamala Harris and other members of the Democrat Party who can't figure out exactly what their accent is, and so they just change depending on who they're talking to. This guy, same thing. Watch.
Because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life.
Worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Oh, man.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
So embarrassing.
In a Disney movie directed by his mother.
Disassociation, that's called
Goes a
multiple
long way.
personality
Here in New
disorder.
York City, this is how I speak.
Wow.
Hello, welcome to 7-Eleven. Would you like a Slurpee?
Listen, New York is in trouble. The investors in New York, the real serious investors, when you think of some serious guys who actually are pro-Trump, who have a lot of assets in New York, real estate, these guys have to be thinking, what the heck?
Yeah. And I think the compulsion is for like higher income people, or maybe even just not only just conservatives, people on the right, but just sane people, is to get the heck out of New York. We can't keep doing that.
No,
you just
no.
abandon
Fake-
cities,
no.
man.
Yeah,
No.
especially New York City.
New York City.
You
No.
cannot do that.
No, of course not.
People need to fight. You need to stand up and fight.
Also, for the record, I know Ted Cruz said, come to Texas. Don't do that. We're full.
No, yeah.
No, please don't. Don't do that.
That's what I
We're all
mean.
full.
You've got
San
Trump.
Francisco is calling, right?
No. But
Ride those trains,
That's what I was saying
or those
earlier.
little buses. It's great.
Don't mind the needles.
Yeah,
It's fine.
people have to own those cities and take them back. You can't just bail and say, well, Trump will fix it. You have to stand.
Yeah. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.